So yes, it's happened. The toss has just taken place at the Optus Stadium, and India won the toss and chosen to bat. And confirmed debuts were two: Nitish Reddy and Harshit Rana. So the likely playing 11 that you had done yesterday, it is actually gone on those terms. So we've got a full house here. First day,
It
Optus.
may not be exactly like that. I think the playing 11 might have one more change. You might have Washington Sundar instead of Ravichandran Ashwin. So we'll have to just wait and watch in terms of our 11.
Yep.
That could be the only change in terms of what was being reported and what the 11 was. Because I
The,
was
the team is
just,
out. The team is out.
yep,
So, drum roll, please. KL Rahul, Yashasvi Jaiswal, Devdutt Padikkal, Virat Kohli, Rishabh Pant, Dhruv Jurel, Washington Sundar, Nitish Reddy, Harshit Rana, Jasprit Bumrah, Mohammad Siraj. So
yeah,
that's
I
the
had
thing.
mentioned that will be
Yep.
that one change. No Ashwin, and you'll have Washington Sundar based on what was being reported as the likely 11. So that's the one change that they have done, much to the dislike of Shashwat here. KL Rahul is your opener alongside Yashasvi Jaiswal.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean the team that was being reported, quite dissimilar to the team that we would have wanted. I'm not saying that this is not the team that most of us were expecting. Uh, but for me, big shocker that your Jadeja or Ashwin, neither one of them starts. I know
Exactly,
that
exactly.
Washington Sundar is. Okay, fine, he did well in that Bangladesh series, but then you were also playing your regular spinners, and so you could afford to play him as the third spinner. But yeah, let's spend time on the Washington Sundar decision. For me, a big shocker. For me, it's telling you that you're trying to pack in your batting lineup. And
Exactly.
once again, it's much like what you had mentioned, like for Nitish Reddy. You are playing him primarily because he can give you some bowling. And now you're playing a spinner primarily because he can give you batting compared to the other. If it was a ODI game or a T20 game, I would understand. Test cricket, it's a bit of a shocker for me that neither Ashwin nor Jadeja plays.
I
In
mean,
fact,
Yeah,
a very big reason, I think, a very big reason why there's a lot of difference between the team that we picked and the team that has started. I did not want to begin the Border Gavaskar Trophy on a negative note, but we have no other option. I think the team management, this is more sort of a T20 team that has been selected. You have wanted to deepen your batting as much as possible, and you have wanted to strengthen your batting as much as possible. You've gone with as many batting options as possible, as deep as possible. That's a very big reason why a Washington Sundar has started. I think it could turn out to be a very big blunder moving into the test match, because you, like we also mentioned, you're already going with, you needed your full bowling strength. It's the bowling that has always stood up. And batting, yeah, definitely it's been iffy, but that doesn't mean you just try to fill in the gaps with 50-ish batters. And that's exactly what the team management has done. And I don't think it will sort of work in favor of the Indian team, because as soon as the batters do not fire, the top order batters do not fire, and the batters you've gotten to just fill in those roles, then it will be a problem, because your bowling also automatically will suffer moving.
yeah, I mean,
yeah,
when was the last time you can remember both an Ashwin and a Jadeja are not playing
Exactly.
together? When was the last
No,
time? So it is.
I can remember them not playing the time that you've played four fast bowlers, but I can't remember another spin superseding them. Spinner.
Yes, yes. That is the thing. Either it was a
this is
Jadeja,
also
either it was an Ashwin. But this is a
it's
Washington
different
Sundar.
in terms of philosophy and India's approach. This is different than how things were 2018, 2019. That time, Vihari was the leader of your spin bowling attack. You had gone with four pacers then as well. And this time, maybe the philosophy is that you needed somebody like, you had some bowling that you could rely on Vihari for. You also relied, I think, on Mayank Agarwal to bowl a few overs, if memory serves me right. But this time around, you don't have any of those bowlers or batters who can give you, those many overs. The first wicket, in fact, I think it was Vihari who drew first blood in that test match for you. So you needed somebody, and I think Washington Sundar was the only one you saw giving that option to you. And maybe the idea is that Washington Sundar, the batter at the moment, sort of supersedes Ashwin, the batter, because otherwise I don't see a reason why you would have gone with Washington over Ashwin.
Yeah, I think I was the only one who said during the discussion that there's a chance that Washington Sundar might
Is
be
he
played
is he
over
opening
both
for you?
Ashwin
Is he opening
and
for you
Jadeja.
then?
Yeah,
Is he opening for you then?
no, but he's not opening in this test. But I think, yeah, I kind of agree with both Nikhil and Harshit here that Washington Sundar's batting kind of was one of the major reasons why he was picked ahead of both Ashwin and Jadeja. I'm not sure if really that's the right decision or that's the right way. You would have wanted a certain Sundar ahead of both Ashwin and Jadeja, knowing that Ashwin's you know mystery, or at the very same time how Ashwin has gotten the better of the likes of Steve Smith and Marnus Labuschagne in the past. I think maybe India could have used that also, but then at the very same time, I think if you wanted to strengthen your batting, that's why you've probably gone with him. So interesting decisions. Looks like more of a white ball 11, but then things have changed significantly in the past. Also, as far as Test cricket is concerned, I even heard, Chiteshwar Pujara said the same thing, that the way Test cricket is progressing, sometimes now you need more of stroke makers, or at the very same time people who can keep the game moving fast paced. And that's where I think India are also coming from as far as their playing 11 is concerned. And that's how that's why they've gone with players like Nitish Reddy, Washington Sundar, and Harshit Rana.
I mean, you've
But
I
got
think
two
the
all
Reddy,
round.
no, if you
Was there a
needed
need?
a stroke maker or whatever, I mean, there is a Jadeja as well. I don't think that,
exactly.
he's that inferior a batter, but at least a far more experienced spinner who's had experience of playing in Australia. His returns have been such. You're anyway playing an inexperienced team in terms of your batters. And then you're going to
Yeah.
pack it with, I know Washi has experience of playing in Australia, but not nowhere near as what Jadeja has done. And just to, you know, actually reiterate the point that India is rather underconfident of their batting looking at the 11. It's not just that Washington Sundar decision. Dare I say, I also have a feeling that they've gone with Harshit Rana primarily because he can bat. He's got 100
He
in
was
first
just
class.
100 as
He's
well.
got a few
Yes.
50s as well here and there. So, because he gives you that batting, you may have given him the edge. Because again, you had someone uh, in an Akashdeep who's got more international experience. And even then, even if you didn't go with Akashdeep, if you're just looking at recent form, you would have still gone with a Prasidh who's bowled in South Africa, who's come here and bowled in those two practice matches and gone in it. But you've just suddenly gone with, a left field selection in Harshit Rana for whatever he's shown you in those practice games. But eventually, you've again relied on its batting. So it's pretty much telling me that you want to pack your team like a T20 team till batting till the
Hmm.
end, which in T20 cricket works because all you require is cameos, right? About 10, 20 runs of few deliveries. But your primary skill has to dominate in Test cricket. I mean, it's the least likely Indian 11. Forget, I mean,
Exactly.
Siddharth was talking about when was the last time that Jadeja and Ashwin were superseded by another spinner. I mean, it takes me a long time to go back into finding my least likely 11.
Hmm.
Yes, there have been 11s that we may have disagreed with, but at best, it's a one or two sort of a player. But I see multiple issues here. And if you really wanted to pack your batting lineup, then you could have gone with an out and out batter in
Exactly. Sarfaraz.
Sarfaraz or whoever else
Surprise.
you need a batter. But no, that's not what they've done. So again, I can't make head or tail of this. I'd be happy to be proven wrong, just as we were proven wrong with the Washington Sundar call in the in the New Zealand Test match. But even there, even if that call had not really come through, you had the backup of an Ashwin and a Jadeja. Here you have nothing. So you just go into a Test match without any of those backups, without enough batting, without enough bowling also, I'd say, because I'm not considering Nitish Reddy as a bowler, without any sort of experience. So multiple red flags for me in this 11.
Also,
What
I
I
this
mean,
mean,
actually just at the toss shows is that you're already on the back foot. This is we were talking about which team is under pressure in yesterday's dugout, and I think this is a very clear sign just at the beginning of the test match that the Indian team is very iffy about their batting, and that's exactly what this means. Just filling up your batting by numbers. I think that's exactly what Gautam Gambhir has done. At the end of the day, we like Gulati sir mentioned what Pujara has said that batting is progress. Batting in Test cricket has changed, and you need players who keep on moving the game and all of that things. But I think that is something that, as a basic, the batters have changed. Batters want to take it on. It's not about staying on the wicket. Maybe now more. It's more about scoring runs at a little quicker pace. But the basis of Test cricket, because it's at the end of the day, it's Test cricket. It is about taking 20 wickets. Until the time you do not take 20 wickets, you're not going to win a test match. The reason for the success that India has achieved in Australia on the previous two occasions, that has been that the bowlers have taken 20 wickets on a regular occasion, and that's exactly what now I don't know how will it be possible or not, but you're already trying to back your batting more. This is just giving signs to the Australian side that your batting is under tremendous pressure. You're showing them that somebody like a Virat Kohli is under pressure. You do not have your senior pros, and this just is not the best way to start a five-match test series, and it's going to be a very long series. Not the right way, not the right mindset to start the Border Gavaskar.
you know, last time around when we had to give out all these debuts in the previous tour of Australia, that was out of need. This time around, though, I wonder that this is clearly not out of need. This is more out of desire to give those debuts because you're trying out something new. For me, even a Jurel doesn't start ahead of for Sarfaraz. I said that very clearly. Yes, you've gone with recency bias. You've liked what he's done, and I've liked too what I've seen of Jurel, but it sends across the wrong message to everyone in the pipeline or everyone who believes in the system. Sarfaraz, after two test series, has been asked to sit down because, and this is a man in the last four innings who scored a 150. So you've shown him the bench. Nitish Reddy gets catapulted. Harshit Rana getting catapulted. There was an Akashdeep he was singing praises of. He looked like for Shami. Looking at these conditions, the more lethal bowler at the outset because I don't know with Harshit Rana what I get. And did push come to shove for me to give Harshit go ahead? In comparison to Akashdeep, I have my doubts. I have my doubts over all these selections that have been made. Partly to do with even Washington Sundar getting starting ahead of Jadeja or an Ashwin. That selection, maybe of all the three decisions, that one maybe I
Yeah.
can still make some peace with. But Reddy debut, Rana debut, it's not like you didn't have options. So clearly, and the other problem with the Harshit's debut, while we've been hearing stories about him taking to Test cricket like fish to water, the other thing is we were talking about how thin this Indian team is in terms of experience in the bowling department. It's got even thinner now. Akashdeep at least has a couple of Test series under his belt. Nitish Reddy, Zilch, and absolutely the same for Harshit Rana as well. So you look at only Jasprit Bumrah and Siraj having played some sort of Test cricket that ways, but the other two seam bowling options that you have, nothing at all.
Just to add on a few, sometime you can be in a bubble like all five of us are and think that, are we the only one very critical of selection? So I just quickly had a look at the comment section as to what is it that a lot of our subscribers are saying at the moment. And the feeling is mutual. So, Jay says that what were we thinking with these selections? Good luck. Yeah. Shan feels that Rana is not a good pickup. Either Krishna or Akash should have played. We'll miss Ash as well. Can we take 20 wickets? That's a big question, according to him. Uh, you know, uh, you've had Maulik Garg saying that he felt that Akash would have been a trump card, and here he is sitting on the bench. So Sridhar Savaikar has an interesting one. He has a wish. He says, "I hope KKR beats Australia." So he's being a
Yeah,
bit.
it looks like KKR versus SRH.
Yeah, that's exactly what Annie says as well. It's KKR versus SRH. Jay wants Dravid to come back for some sanity to prevail in the selection. Sandeep Randhawa is far more bullish. He's not really being critical of the selection. He's looking at the task at hand. He says if India can get past the first session without losing more than 2 wickets, then we will be in a good position to win the test match. Uh, you know, uh, Freaking Awesome says that he's not surprised with Nitish's selection, but he feels that it's only because it's Perth that they've gone with that fast bowling all rounder. He doesn't see him play in any other test match. But that'll also depend on how he fares. If he's not getting any runs or wickets, then he's anyway not playing any test match. Doesn't matter, uh, you know, where that test match is at the moment. Jay also feels batting is looking weak, but listen, they've tried to pack in as much batting as they want. That's why Washington
9.
Sundar has come, Harshit Rana has come.
But the
So
whole
that's
problem,
the
I think, now will begin now because you'll said suddenly you were confident about your bowling. If the team would have gone with the bowling, if your pure bowlers would have been there instead of makeshift arrangements, then maybe if you would have gone past the first 1 hour and scored about 300, 350, 350 odd runs, you had little bit confidence on your bowling. But now what you've done is that you've even depleted your bowling strength. So that even more makes the situation worse. That till now you were only not so sure about your batting lineup. Now it is also a problem that we'll have to be worried about when India comes out to bowl as well. And I think Harshit Rana is the least of the worries out of the selections that have been made. Harshit Rana is still in understand, like you also mentioned yesterday. Sometimes the team management goes with the gut. Sometimes it's also about how a fast bowler is sort of looking like in the nets. So okay, I can give that advantage to the team management that maybe Harshit Rana was just suddenly looking like a Dale Steyn or some or Anderson that you sort
Dale
of
Steyn.
got
Wow.
that
Dale
you got
You
him
Steyn.
into
figure out
the
that he's a Dale Steyn in some practice session. He becomes
no,
Dale.
maybe I give that advantage to the team management. I give that advantage, but Washington Sundar and Nitish Reddy, it absolutely doesn't make any sense in that sense because now suddenly, if Nitish Reddy and Washington Sundar do not perform with the bat, then you do not even have players who can go out and take 20 wickets. Nitish Reddy, an all rounder, just 1 wicket since the time he's been in Australia. You're just playing him because you're not too sure about your batting. And I again, like we mentioned, it absolutely doesn't make any sense. And you've done is suddenly you've gone with two less specialists just so that you have that as far as you're just filling in those numbers as far as batting is concerned. This is absolutely a T20. I remember there was we had done a dugout where we'd gone back to an article where the headline was a T20 coach, and at that time I wasn't too not too much reading into those lines, and I wasn't agreeing to that fact. But now I think I'm getting those sort of shades because that's exactly the
No,
mindset
but
you have to be.
why is it only the coach? Now you have the chairman of
Yeah.
selector also sitting there. He's gone there for this
Yeah.
reason to ensure that the 11 will be made. You also now have the captain who has to take the biggest call.
Mm.
So if hypothetically, if I was to read in that headline and also agree that it's true that if it's a T20 coach, whether I agree with it or not, but assuming that is correct, even then it couldn't have been one man's choice, right? So I'm
Yeah.
a bit surprised that if there are three people who are going to be taking that call, all three of them sit together and take that call. And you know what happens with this kind of selection is that, see, if you'd gone with a more conventional selection, you lose, then of course there will be criticism your way. But with this kind of selection, if you do not get the result, then all hell is going to break loose, because one is being
Correct.
outplayed by the opposition, but the other is shooting herself in the foot with a selection like that. Then it's going to get very ugly if the result in this test match doesn't go that way. Okay, we've spoken enough about selection. What do you make of the fact that uh, you know they won the toss, they're batting first? It's not very often that I believe we had somebody point out that
First time Australia are bowling
yeah,
first.
Yeah.
exactly, first
I
time
think
that they're
it's a good call, to be very honest, because this is, I think,
Very
India's
good
best
toss to
chance
win.
to put pressure on Australia. Because, see, you know that you get to about 350 or 400 in the first innings, and you would be one step ahead of Australia in this match. And that's what I think India would be really looking to do. Anything in excess of 300 is going to put India ahead of Australia in this particular match. And I think it's a good call rather than just looking at the green tinge and thinking that, okay, I might have, chosen to bowl first. I think Bumrah, according to me, has made the right call by trying to put the pressure back on Australia.
See, if
It's a
you
very
look
good
at,
toss to win. In fact, you look at the first innings average total at this venue for all the pace and bounce that it offers, it's in excess of 420 runs. In fact, there's this time I was looking at the past four matches. It's only going to be the fifth test match here at the Optus. Australia managed to score 598 versus West Indies not too long back. So this is,
2022,
yes, this is a very good toss to win. Looking at the victory margins as well for Australia over here, because they won all matches, they've been sizable victories. The lowest margin I can recall is 126 runs. It's been over and above that. So if India had to have a chance in this test match, I think you got to bat first. You are doing that. Now you got to bat big as well in the first innings. So India have the platform for themselves. They need to make use of it.
see, but then we can't look back at those matches because right now, when were those test matches held at Perth? I don't think anywhere held in November. Let's be very honest about it. And this time the weather is very different. And that's why what is the typical Perth wicket like at Optus? Optus will start out well, then there'll be cracks developing, and then you'll have the bowlers coming in the third or
But
the fourth.
Siddharth, that rain a couple of days back has actually, what I read of reports, that rain has meant that those cracks will probably now be delayed because you
Yeah,
haven't been able to put together the conditions that you earlier would used to.
but
So if
there is one more thing. There is one more thing here. See, high temperatures would mean that the cracks would widen at Perth quickly. But in this entire test match, you're not going to see high temperatures. The highest is going to be 31 degrees. So that is why it is going to be a flat deck. You'll get initial movement of the wicket. You'll get some pace, bounce, typical of Optus, what you're going to get. But ensuring that the cracks will widen and get the bowlers back, and I think you'll have to work very hard for all your 20 wickets here this time around at Perth. Unless you have a mega batting collapse, then and only then, I think you're going to see a very even contest. But I don't think 350, 400 is a very good total here. I think you have to go for 450 because it may get
No,
better.
but Siddharth, those 450s were when they hadn't gone with this whole call of having pitches, really favor fast bowlers. I think they've really juicing things up in the last year or so. So I don't know whether now I know that 400 plus used to be the average first inning total here at Perth for the longest time. If you look at from 2018 onwards, but just the last 1 year, I think they've made a conscious decision in Australia to change pitches. So I'm not sure whether now 400 plus will be an, if India get 400 plus, they're in the driver's seat in this test match. Because the one other thing why I think batting first here makes sense is because this is that one pitch that actually gets quicker as the test match progresses, as more and more sun will bake down this pitch, and anyway they haven't had too much sun, so it's going to be soft to begin with. This particular pitch, they got some sun yesterday, but the couple of days leading up to that they did not get enough sun, but they've tried to compensate that by doing extra rolling. But if it really the sun comes down and if it is baking, by the way, it is not at the moment. Once again, it's not that bright hot Perth sun that we are so used to. It's still not like that. So I think
Cloudy.
yeah, it's a bit cloudy at the moment. So we'll see that encourages sea movement. So it may not be quick and bouncy to
Yeah.
begin with, that typical Perth. But if there's lateral movement, then that makes it even tougher for any team to get around. So I don't know whether now it's going to
So
be
that
a
brings
400.
Hazelwood into the equation big time. In this, it brings Hazelwood into the equation. It brings
No,
Stark.
even Stark. Even
Stark.
Stark. See, if it was that baked hot pitch, no, then Hazelwood even more so
No.
because he'll hit the line, get that bounce. That may not happen. Not at least now. It may take a couple of days for it to come. But if it's moving Stark, then uh, could
I
really
mean,
trouble you. Otherwise, may not be, but now he could. So
yeah,
I think
let's
it's the
not.
right call. You won the
Yeah,
toss. You needed to bat first.
Yes.
As I said, it'll get quicker as the test match progresses. It's probably the best time to bat also here in this bit. So get runs.
I mean,
But not
unless
everyone is, by the way, downcast with the selection. Abapaditya says that it's a bold and gutsy team selection. He feels that Sundar could then be a
No.
masterstroke.
Yeah.
indeed.
I think
I mean, look,
one of the things I feel is that Australia are obviously going to bat fourth on this pitch. I don't really think that if enough sun is not out, then you may not have those snake-sized cracks which you usually see maybe at the Optus Stadium, or which we have probably witnessed at the Waka also. But if that's really the case, then anything around a 200 target, also 200 or 250 in the fourth innings, is going to be very difficult for the home team.
No, but
For that,
they are
you'll have to
not going
score
to have
500.
that. They are not going to have those snake side cracks. One, not only the weather, but if you heard from the curator, he has made sure that those cracks don't come by leaving a little bit more grass to bind the pitch compared to previous occasions, and that is only because they came in for a lot of criticism last time when Pakistan were 89 all out. It's
Yeah,
not just about them being 89 all out. It's also about the players getting hit.
Hmm.
There are multiple occasions where players had to take blows because of those snake size cracks. So I think they're making a conscious effort. One, of course, that the weather has kind of helped them, but
yeah,
on top of that, they have also made conscious effort that they do not end up with those snake size cracks that you sometimes get. I used to get it at the Waka as well, and this is
yeah,
the same sort of clay that they've got
yeah,
at Optus, but they've tried
yeah.
not to do it.
indeed, indeed. So yes, unless you don't encounter a Stark versus Rory Burns situation, it's a good move when you're batting first, because it was first ball of Ashes 2021 in swinger on leg stump bowled around his legs. So unless you don't encounter that, it's a good position until that point. So let's hope that it happens in that sense. But for me, this session is going to make or break KL Rahul. KL, if he survives and he guides India home, then all the detractors will have to not just eat egg, they'll also have to eat humble pie, my friend.
Yeah, what make or break? It can only make him. He's been broken, battered,
No,
and
no, no,
everything
no.
down
Good
till now.
point.
With
I
KL
don't
Rahul,
think there's any room
Arey,
left
KL
in
this
Sasha.
Rahul, there's no
this
yardstick. Even
See,
if he
this
Sasha's
scores
already
20 or
begun.
100.
Sasha's already on his motorbike, raring to go.
this this session will only decide if KL Rahul will open in the future or bat in the middle order. That is
He's
all it
not
is going to
opening in
Hey,
the
decide.
he will
future,
open. He
irrespective.
might do well. He will do half decent as well. That gives you enough reason to start him two matches. Third matches you drop him. Next series again you bring him back. This is the mantra. And Abhimanyu Iswaran, quick question: is he ever making an India debut?
Never.
Do we ever
No.
No,
see him
no, 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 no,
get an
never,
India?
never. I just
Shashwat,
made peace with it in 2018 itself. That he's
Shashwat,
never going to.
irrespective of what happens, KL Rahul is not opening in the second test. Period. It's not happening. Even if he scores 200s, it's not happening. Because
Yeah,
Rohit is coming
that's
back.
true.
No.
That's true. That is true.
Yep.
But he
So
could be
that,
a
But
number
middle
three
order
if Gill is not fit.
Yeah, he
If
could
he
be a
gets a
number
hundred,
three.
if he gets 100, that is.
yep.
But
So
So
it's
for
okay
all
if
the
like
criticism
water.
that comes in, all the criticism that comes away, imagine he's in a position where even if he does well, he knows he's not going to get the position that he's batting on. And why don't you look at it the other way? That he'll not get a chance to open. He may not even get a chance to bat at number 3 if Gill is fit. Doesn't matter what he does. So imagine going into a test match knowing fully well that even if I do well, I ain't batting in this position in the next test match. I'm not even batting in the position that will come after this test match. So I'll have to be like a Stepney fitted somewhere in the batting order, if at all I am fitted.
I,
That's
But
I
also
it's
not
could
the
still a
bat.
ideal
better.
position to be in.
I could bat in the middle order as I've done in the past as well. I am
But it's
eligible to
still
bat between 1 and 6.
but it's still a better position to be in rather than being dropped after scoring 150, just 3 innings after that being dropped. It's still better than that.
Okay,
Okay.
I mean,
Stark with the ball, I believe. Quick predictions. First session, how do we see it going?
First of all, it started with a boundary. It's been a leg by.
Oh, it's running behind for me.
yeah.
Okay.
that ball
Uh,
moved, it really moved. Came in.
Yes.
So
A
75%.
prediction from me. Yeah, my prediction is I think 90 for 1.
Who's the
oh,
Oh,
wicket?
A
Jaiswal
very
or
good
KL Rahul?
start. Ooh, yes, the ball did move.
Yep, it did. It did.
Yeah,
Hmm.
90
Are you
for one.
changing
I
the
think
batting?
with the KL Rahul falling, Jaiswal being there.
Gulati, that suddenly something has happened with you. Since 2 days, you are also after KL Rahul. You were the least expected to be.
Yep. So let's see. It's a good start, by the way. 4 for no loss.
Vishy
You got
sir
a boundary.
prediction.
PGT begins with a boundary.
Vishy sir prediction.
He's
I had already
forgotten
made a
this.
prediction. 75 for
What?
2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Harshit Rana.
I
He
think
I
is
am. I'm gonna go with 80 for 3.
80 for 3.
Oh,
65 for 2.
I'm
Hmm.
going. I'm going 72 for 3.
oh,
There's a lot of grass on this pitch. Lot of grass
Hmm.
on this pitch.
Yeah.
There will be a lot of swing on offer. That's what worries me. Pace and bounce, I think Indian batters really handle well, but I think there will be a bit of juice. Ball will move around. You really need to grind it out. There won't be too many easy runs, big starts. So yeah,
And having a short leg since from the first over itself, it just scares me even more.
yeah. But that short leg also disappears very quickly with a couple of boundaries to begin with.
But
But yeah, you need those couple of boundaries.
Yeah.
but short first over that they're not going to hold back the Australian
Yeah.
quicks.
I mean, you got see, they didn't do the blunder. They picked their 4 pacers and they picked their spinner, who's done well.
Yeah, that's how it should be. That's how
Yeah,
it should be. Complete
I think.
different. If I dare I say, if India go on to outclass the Aussies, this will be a defining moment in Test cricket where then more and more team might move towards white ball selection
Yeah.
as the answer rather than stick with conventional Test ball. Who knows?
Good.
I mean,
This
Uh,
the probability
they would
of
have
we
that
could
is
all be
still.
eating the humble pie that Siddharth will bring to office at the end of the test match. But
yeah.
it's not that India can't do well, but really baffled once again by the selection. It
I
is
mean,
what
they're
it is.
going
Like
by.
Nishant Kumar is
I
saying,
think
cheer up, guys. Yeah, we will do well. So first day, first morning, don't be so downcast.
Yeah. Anyways, they are going by 2021. Now, debutants will hurt in Australia far more than established guys. So they have gone with 2 debutants. So it's a
Ah,
continuation of the parampara that's happened. No,
ah.
Just to continue the parampara, you cannot leave out your test specialist now.
right? You won the BGT without them.
But parampara cannot happen without anushasan. Na? So you need some discipline as well. So that we will see.
Everything went for a toss in 2020, 2021. Parampara went out of the window. Anushasan went out of the window because of so many injuries.
and Pratishtha
So,
is done by the fans.
yeah,
the
Pratishtha is
Pratishtha.
discussion would only be about whether you wanted to surprise the Australians by this team selection, or you wanted to basically tell the fans or the experts that these are the guys who did well in the match simulation and the nets, and that's why we picked them ahead of maybe an Akashti, Pashwin, or a Jadeja. So
No, have they
I think
done well with the bat or with the ball? I think the bowlers have done with the bat, so that's why they have come into the side. They need to tell that also, na, that what have they done well in the
batters have been rewarded for their
That's asking
8.
for too much.
or maybe
Batters.
I maybe the first couple of days they had the full they got the practice sessions were covered. Nobody could get a view. Maybe that day they have done something which nobody knows about.
Okay,
no,
there's a super chat. Anurag Singh is saying coach is calling the shots. He feels that is not good in Indian cricket, but we don't know whether that's the truth or not. Uh, then you've Prakash Jai saying, Nikhil sir, can you please tell me if the performance against Australia was a clincher for Jurel? It certainly was. Then it should have been Prasidh Krishna. So he's saying, just extending that logic, then you could have also gone with Prasidh Krishna. Uh, Yashwant says that Sports Today is the greatest PR of KL Rahul ever. I don't think he watches our channel enough. The amount of hate he gets here is unreal. But I think anyway.
Yeah.
Uh, Sports today's number one fan says no Ashwin, an Australian dressing room is going to be very happy, which also I kind of
Steve
agree
Smith
with.
is relieved.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Steve Smith and
Okay,
Manas love to be vocal.
we'll take your leave because the match has started. I really want to see, as would all of you as well.
Yep.
Just a reminder, we're going to be back directly at the end of the day's play. If there is anything important that happens in terms of a landmark or a controversy, then of course we come live. But our analysis, end of the day's play.
Yep. So join us for then and subscribe to Sports Today. So from me, Gulati, Harshit, Nikhil, and Shashwat, first over of BGT done. No hassle. So bye bye. We'll be back for more updates. Bye bye.
First tooth done. Now it's moving.
End stream.
Bye.